Hello, beautiful seekers. This is Clarity 1129. Welcome back to another pick a card reading. It is a general reading and may not resonate with everybody. It is also a timeless reading and it will hold good for all the Mars and Mercury retrogrades in the future, even though the filming of this video is on the 17th of October 2020. Now this is a 2-in-1 reading and it's the first time I'm doing this. Basically I have 3 piles for you to choose from for your Mars retrograde reading, and after this reading is done I will be putting up 2 more piles for you to choose from for your Mercury retrograde reading. I'm doing this because I'm already overdue with the Mars retrograde reading, but I've been under the weather and I haven't been able to record for almost 2 weeks. Now, before we delve into the reading, I'd like to tell you a bit about retrogrades. You hear about retrogrades and a lot of you would already be aware of how retrogrades affect our lives. It's talked about a lot in astrology as well as in tarot reading. Now, a retrograde is basically the apparent movement of a planet backwards. It doesn't actually happen. It is just that when we look at it, for certain times, different periods of time, and each planet has a different, the duration of the retrograde as well as how often it occurs. It varies from planet to planet. But this apparent motion is visible and it does affect our lives. And that is why retrograde holds such an important place in astrology. At any given time, about 80% of the planets are in retrograde. Even as we speak, I've even got them written down for you. We have the Mercury, the planet Mercury in retrograde from the 13th of October to 3rd of November. Mars from 9th has been in retrograde since 9th of September and will be in retrograde till 13th of November. Pluto was in Pluto's just finished its retrograde on the 4th of October and gone direct. Uranus has gone into retrograde from 15th of August and will carry on till 14th of January 2021. We've just finished the Saturn retrograde on the 28th September, and right now we have the Neptune retrograde as well from 23rd of June to 28th of November. However, the Mars and the Mercury retrograde are, as well as the Saturn retrogrades, are the ones that which make huge changes or huge impacts on our lives, and that is why most of the retrograde readings that are carried out are done for these 3 planets. So considering that Mars is going to be in retrograde till 13th of November and Mercury till the 3rd of November, I will go over certain things before each of the readings. Right now I'm going to talk to you about the Mars retrograde. Whatever reasons that I'm fumbling, I attribute to the Mercury retrograde because it rules communication, and there will be a lot of faux pas during this time, so pardon me for the same. No, that's very convenient too for me. Well, Mars is the ruler of Aries, and Aries and traditionally is also the ruler of Scorpio. Now, Mars is the planet of energy and action, sexual desire, and that's how Aries is also a sign which we talk about, drive and self-assertion, anger, etc. Now, when Mars goes into retrograde, now Mars goes once in 26 months into retrograde for about 2 to 2.5 months. This is second only to Venus. Other planets go on into retrogrades faster. For example, Venus has already gone into retrograde in February, once in February in Pisces, and it's gone into retrograde again in June in Cancer, and now it's again going, it is in retrograde in Scorpio. However, Mars and Venus don't go, I mean, their backward movement is not apparent so often. So as I mentioned, once in 26 months, we will find for 2 to 2.5 months, Mars is in retrograde. Now, there are pluses and minuses for the retrograde period. The good part is, now Mars is the planet of action. So whatever plans you make to move forward, even if you've made your travel plans and there are a lot of things you were expecting to move forward, when the retrograde starts, you find that these things don't happen. You know, you'll find that there are hurdles every step of the way, things are not moving as smoothly, and it leads to a lot of frustration. So this is what is the negative impact of Mars, so being in retrograde. So now that you know that this is what is happening, what can you do during this time? This is the best time during a Mars retrograde to complete pending tasks, to if there's any repair work to be done, to finish that, to review your strategies. You've been following this, what can you change? This is the best time to do all that. And it's a great time to develop patience, because there is nothing much you can do. If you develop patience, you'll have less frustration, right? This is the time you can listen to your intuition. Because your life generally slows down during this time, despite you're not wanting it to be so. So you might as well look within during this time and reflect as to what you really want and where are you headed. It's also a caution that during this time it's better not to take up challenges. It's not a good time to do that during the Mars retrograde. Now, on the negative, as I said, you will have frustration due to delays. There will be a lot of delays and things will not move as smoothly as it would when Mars is direct. Secondly, a lot of repressed anger comes forth. And if you actually don't take it as a negative thing and learn to think about why you're reacting and what is behind that, this is a great time for healing. But you find that repressed anger surfaces during this time. You tend to relive your past and bring up all those things which have been irritants in your life or have not served you well. You also tend to be over sensitive to criticism during this time. And last but not the least, you may have low libido during this time. So now that we've got that out of the way, we can move towards your reading. As you can see, there are 3 piles. This is pile number 1 with the green Aventurine crystal. Pile number 2 with the Sodalite crystal. It's a beautiful blue crystal, if it's visible. And then pile number 3 has got the Amethyst crystal. It's a small crystal. It's beautiful. There you go. So for those of you who chose pile number 1, the green Aventurine crystal, it's pale green, it looks really pretty. This is your reading. We're using the Sun and Moon Tarot, and we have an advice card from the Animal Spirit Oracle. Opening your reading with the Ace of Swords. You see it? No? Yes. There you go. Ace of Swords. The Nine of Wands. The Strength card. and the Judgment. All right. Where do you need to slow down? That's what you need to know, where you can, because during a Mars retrograde, as I mentioned, there will be delays. So this is the best time to slow down yourself and develop patience, right? So where do you need to slow down? Pile number one. Maybe in your quest for the truth, maybe you're relentlessly getting after something, or you're speaking the truth um, in a way that people are not able to digest. See, right now, coupled with Mercury retrograde, this can be pretty detrimental. So you may, and it could also be that you think you've got everything on the table, but maybe you don't have all your cards right. Maybe there is an angle that you aren't seeing at this time. So I believe that this is where you can slow down. You need to research about something that you're speaking your truth about, or the truth about any thing that you're trying to bring out. You need to slow down here and recheck your facts and your figures. So this is what this card speaks to me at this time. Now, how are you overworking yourself, spreading yourself too thin? The Nine of Wands. You are overworking yourself. It's evident here with the Nine of Wands. You want to get to your goal. Every 10 is a completion, right? 10 of Wands is a completion of a cycle. Now you're getting there, you're trudging along, but somehow in this particular deck, the person doesn't look beaten. He almost looks, charged up to move forward. And during this time, it could also be, when you have this charged up energy and you still want to move forward, though you've done so much of work, it may lead to frustration, since this is the time where things don't progress as fast as you would like it. In other words, your effort and the result will not be in direct proportion to one another, right? So this is the right time to just take a break and not spread yourself too thin. Just relax a little bit and go easy on the work front. What you can do during this time then, when you're not going to be speaking your truth right now, but doing research on it and going slow on whatever you're working. I'm not telling you to stop working, no, but just go easy on yourself. And what you can do to recharge during this time, so that on the 13th of November, when Mars goes direct, you've got everything in your hand and you can zoom forward. So to recharge yourself, you get the Strength card, which is Major Arcana, which tells you that you've got to really take it easy right now and build in your inner strength. If you can meditate, or start looking at the larger picture and tame all those the anger within, tame it. You can always see whether in this it is this girl sitting on a wolf. Normally it's a girl taming the lion. So basically it's not taming exactly through brute force, but it's kind of understanding. In this case, it's about understanding yourself, and that is the best way to recharge yourself. Bring out your inner power. Alright, then that's the best time to do it right now, because you can't really take action, pile number one. So this is the best time to look within and work on your inner power. And how can you practice patience during this time? See, these two are major arcanas, okay? The Strength card and the Judgment card. And you need to practice patience by allowing the universe to lead the way. You're doing your work, and Don't get caught up with this Ace of Swords that you want the answers right now. What the universe is telling you is that everything is where it should be. Just allow it to happen. Don't get after anything. It's coming. This is the Judgment card. You're going to get all your answers. Right now, just go with the flow and don't not just try and go against the flow. Don't even push yourself to do anything too much right now. Just get your facts correct and trust that everything is going to turn out fine. It's a beautiful reading. It's a very positive reading, pile number 1. It's just telling you to relax and to look within, possibly meditate, resolve all your issues which may come up from time to time, and just recharge your batteries so that on the 13th of November, Mars goes direct, and by the time you've done all your spade work and all your homework and whatever it is that you're looking forward, you can just march ahead. But right now, you're on the right track. This is the message from Spirit that you're on the right track and there's nothing for you to worry about. And what is the... Okay, and this is the advice from the animal spirit. You get the porcupine spirit. Time for a beginner mind. So this is what the universe is trying to tell you. When you start looking within and consolidating all that, we have all the answers inside. We don't see it. But when we start looking within, when we start meditating, and when we allow things to take a natural course, we see things from a different perspective. And that's what he's saying. Time for a beginner mind. Maybe after this cool down period where you're taking a break, when you start afresh and move forward and take action in the middle of November, 13th of November and beyond, you will find that you have a fresh take on things, and this makes this truth which you have just left aside for the time being, this will become even more clear to you. It will become clearer and you will be able to look at things in a new way, and it will be more beneficial for you. So that's all I have for you, pile number 1. I hope this reading helped you. It is frustrating to hear at times that you've got to do nothing and you've got to sit down when you're feeling that there's so much that you need to do, but sometimes it really pays to wait. And with that, we go to pile number 2. Those who chose the Sodalite crystal, which you can't see and I can. There you go. Alright, we're using the original Rider-Waite tarot, and we have an advice card from the Animal Spirit Oracle. We open your reading with the Two of Swords, Page of Wands, the Magician, and the King of Pentacles. Okay, pile number 2. You've been overthinking a lot. There's a choice that you need to make, and you're not making the choice. There's a certain amount of being adamant, you just don't want to make the decision. Heart and heart, I think you know already what it is that you want, but you're not willing to see things for what they are. You've just got your eyes closed. See, this lady's got her eyes closed and she's crossed her arm. She's not open to anyone. And you are in this energy right now. And you need to slow down. And what you need to slow down is actually embrace this. What's happening right now is whatever the two options that are in your mind that are weighing you down, you're not taking any action and you refuse to choose one over the other, but you're constantly thinking about it. Should I take this? Should I take that? No, I don't want to look at any of this. Should I take this? Should I take that? no, I'm just keeping it aside. But you're not actually keeping it aside, because every time you put it aside, it comes back and you again think over it. And since you can't find any proper solution, you then keep it aside for a while and then you pick it up again. That needs to slow down now. Just keep it aside and divert your attention to something else. Just forget about this decision for now. It will come back to you. But right now, just leave it. This is what universe's advice for you is, to slow down in this choice making energy that you are in. Just let it be. When the time comes, you will get to know what your choice is. There is something that is exciting you. It could be a creative venture, it could be your feelings for somebody, but there's something that is, there's a spark that's burning within you, and you're willing to do anything for this right now. So you're thinking maybe this particular spark that is ignited within you is one of the choices here. All right, and you're just thinking about it. You're making plans for it, but maybe you're neglecting yourself in the bargain. You're just thinking about it. So this is the time that you leave the choice and leave the spark aside. Maybe you keep it for a certain time of the day. There are some things which keep plaguing us. Even though we try to just let it be, it comes back to us, and it comes back at any time during the day. So one of the best things you can possibly do is to tell your mind, we will we will think about this every day, but we'll think about it only during this time of the day. If you can actually tell your mind that and follow it, you will find that your mind frees up and you've got lots of time to do other things. So right now, without your realizing it, you're spreading yourself too thin, thinking about something for which you're not able to really act too much, and this is also holding you back. So this is what you need to shed at this time. You need to slow down as far as making this decision is concerned, and spending too much of time mulling over it and maybe fantasizing or daydreaming over it. Just take a break from that energy and divert yourself to other things. Obviously, we're human beings. It's not as though we're going to be interested in just one thing. There are other things, there are other avenues to explore. So if you're getting nowhere in a particular situation or a particular field, just give it up just for a short while. I'm not telling you to forget about it forever. No, just leave it aside, and you will find that by and by things get clear to you. That is the way of the world. We've got all the answers within our subconscious, but we don't allow it to come out to us because we are busy allowing our fears or our judgment or preconceived notions to come in the way. So sometimes it really makes a lot of difference. You can just leave something and just step back. All right. And during this time, what can you do to recharge yourself? Now, since this is there on your mind, what you can do to recharge yourself is to try and manifest. To be able to try and manifest, you have to just allow the universe, put these two options in front of the universe and surrender to the universe. If you have made a choice, nothing like it. And thereafter, just surrender to the universe. Keep a positive outlook. And you say, these are the two things I'm interested in. And I just leave it up to you to let me know which one will serve me better. And I trust you completely, and please allow it to come into my life. And after saying that, just leave it. You will find that you have renewed energy because you have trusted the universe, and you should know by now that the universe always has your back, right? And when you just let go of these preconceived notions and you let go of wanting to control the outcome, you're going to be refreshed and recharged, and only good will come to you. And how do you practice patience um, with yourself? You come into your King of Pentacles energy. He's a very sorted king. He's got an abundance of wealth. There's a constant, he doesn't hoard wealth and just sit over it and get insecure about it. No, he knows that wealth will come, and when wealth, there's a steady flow of wealth. It comes and it goes and it comes and it goes, and he knows that there's never going to be a lack of it. He's got, and that, if you look at his face, he looks so assured and so comfortable. He knows that that the universe is not going to let him down. He's worked, he's made his money, and he's not hoarding and sitting on his money like, in the Four of Pentacle energy, not leaving anything. No, he knows that he's abundant, and he has that faith that he will always be abundant. And this is the kind of energy you have to come into. The minute you come into this kind of energy, that whatever happens will be for the best. I have asked the universe what I want, and now I let it be. You will see that you are patient, you calm down. You will not keep thinking about something, keep running after something. You'll just calm down, slow down, take a deep breath. As it is, things are not going to be moving very fast during this period. So if you don't go against the flow, against everything, and you yourself take a step back, you will find that all this really works out in your favor. And what advice do we have from Spirit? You get the Dove Spirit, be peace. This is so beautiful. Just look at this. That's all you need to do. Take your choice, give it out to the universe, and believe that whatever comes your way, or whichever choice that finally comes into your life, is what is meant to come. You have worked for it, you've thought about it, and now you've let the universe decide for you. And only along with this, you get so much of peace because you're not controlling things anymore. All right? And you need to practice patience and allow things to come to you. It's somewhat similar to pile number 1, but a little different. The underlying message for both is the same: to take things slowly, trust the universe, things will work out in your favor. And that's all I have for you, pile number 2. We shall move on to pile number 3, those who chose the Amethyst crystal. We're using the Morgan Greer Tarot, and we have an advice card from the Animal Spirit Oracle deck. Opening your reading with the 5 of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Rods or the Knight of Wands, and the 4 of Wands. Lovely cards. Pile number 3, you're sad. The first thing that came to my mind is crying over spilt milk. Something has not gone right, and you feel you've lost everything and there's no hope. In fact, you're so despondent that you're not seeing these 2 cups. Can you see these 2 cups standing up right here? No, you're not looking at it. You just feel you have nothing left. And you are actually getting into a sort of depression, despondency. And you need to slow down here. You are thinking too much. You're making the situation worse than what it is. It isn't as bad, but you are not willing to look at any other perspective. You just want to see it this way. This is what I wanted, and I've lost it all. And there is a lot that's left, and you can do wonders with what you have left, but you're just not willing to see it. You're just brooding, you're sad. I, in fact, feel for you. Some of you must be really depressed and upset about it. but the only way you can do it is stop thinking about it. What's done's done. If you keep looking at what's gone wrong without learning anything from it, without changing anything, how will you come out of this energy? If you have a choice of being happy and being sad, why would you choose wanting to be sad? There is a reason behind everything that happens. So if something's gone wrong, it could be anything. You could be any kind of loss. Basically, when you talk about the Five of Cups, you're talking about some sort of loss. There will be pain, but how long will you be in this energy? Pile number 3, you really have to get over this. This is what Spirit is telling you, to slow down. You really need to stop thinking so much. Queen of Cups. This is the card which comes in where you're spreading yourself too thin. Is there someone in your life whom you're trying to please? Could be a mother figure, could be someone you hold in high regard, and maybe this person's asking you to do something for them over and over again, and you can't say no, even when you want to say no. There are times when you have people close to you, your parents or someone you love and you hold in such high regard, and they mean the world to you, and you can't disappoint them in any way. But then when you give someone so much of love and so much of power, sometimes you forget to give yourself that kindness and that love that you need at times. And sometimes they may overlook what you want, and they're so used to asking you what they want, and they see you doing it so happily that they don't realize that maybe it is not in your best interest. So if you find that if this message resonates for you, it may not be for everybody, but if it does resonate with you, there is nothing wrong in saying no. There is nothing wrong in saying I can't do it at this time. There is nothing wrong in saying that I don't agree with you and I won't be able to do this for you right now. I need to look after my needs. This doesn't gel with me. If you say no, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, you need to give yourself the same kindness and compassion that you would give for anybody else that you love. More often than not, we tend to put ourselves second to all the people that we love, and that is incorrect. And I have a feeling you're spreading yourself too thin, trying to please somebody whom you actually look up to. There's somebody you respect, you love, and you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, but now you are feeling extremely uncomfortable, and you need to, make boundaries, draw boundaries. And if this person is as wonderful as you feel they are, then they will surely understand. What you can do to recharge your batteries is to take something which ignites your passion. Take on something that ignites your passion. It could be a hobby, it could be work, it could be some, getting in touch with somebody who makes you really happy, who you're passionate about. Maybe this person is not in agreement with it, doesn't matter. If it charges you up, go ahead. Do anything that makes you happy. You may not actually be able to go out and do something and start something new, but you could always work on, when I say that, I mean don't begin a new venture during this time. Usually they say to avoid it. See, personally I feel that though people say that this is the during Mars retrograde, Mercury retrograde, you don't start new things, you carry on old things, you consolidate yourself. Even I'm telling you that from the cards. And yet, if you have an opportunity that comes your way, don't say no because some tarot reader told you so, or some follow your intuition, because maybe it just works for you. It's just that what is often seen is that there are roadblocks, but it's not as those roadblocks will always remain there. No, in time those roadblocks will be moved for you. So if there's something that charges you up, I think you really need to go for it, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a person, whether it's maybe you don't want to go and take your friendship to a next level immediately, but maybe you'd like to call somebody up and speak to them, and somebody who makes you happy, something like that. You need to get out of this and take something that really makes you happy. And you can practice. In your case, I think you don't have to practice patience. In your case, you just need to get out of this energy, slow down your thinking process, set your boundaries, and what you need to do is to believe that there is a Four of Wands waiting for you. There is a happily ever after waiting for you. I don't know, though this is a Mars retrograde reading, this is what's coming out very strongly for pile number 3, that you need to get out of your sorrow and express yourself and express what you need, and even if it has to disappoint people who are close to you, you need to do that for yourself, and you need to take up something which ignites your passion. It may be a person, it may be a hobby, it may be anything, and keep believing that this will come to you. This happily ever after is going to come to you. It's not going to leave you, but for that you have to change your mindset. And what is the advice from Spirit? You get the Bobcat Spirit. Life is a mystery. Isn't this beautiful? You feel you've lost everything, but you don't know what's there in these 2 cups. And when we say life is a mystery, it's that if you actually change your perspective and look here, this is what's waiting for you, pile number 3. So this is what you need to know. And that's all I have for you in this reading. Do not spread yourself too thin for anybody. Take charge of your life and give yourself that credit. And with this, we've come to the end of the Mars retrograde reading, and we shall now move into the Mercury retrograde reading. I have 2 piles for you for the Mercury retrograde reading. Why there are such few piles? Because I have only those many decks as of now. When the channel grows, I shall get more decks. So you have to pick from 2 piles. Now, before we go into the readings, let me tell you a bit about Mercury retrograde as well. I've already told you about what the retrograde is all about in the beginning. Now, the Mercury retrograde, as I had mentioned earlier, happens every 4 months for 3 weeks. All right. So as I mentioned, you had the first somewhere in February for 3 weeks in Pisces. Then you had it in June in Cancer, and now you're having it in Scorpio. And this started on the 13th of October, and it will carry on till the 3rd of November, right? Now, Mercury rules Gemini, and Mercury is associated with communication, all right, and mental processes, intellect, thinking, adaptability, creativity, the way you understand the world, the way you see the world, all this is ruled by Mercury, and that is why you find Geminis are really quick on the response. They're very intelligent, they read a lot, they consolidate a lot. All right, it's all about intellect. So now during this time, during the Mercury retrograde, what happens is that your communication is hampered. You might fumble a lot, you might say the wrong thing, or you might seemingly say the right thing, but the other person perceives the wrong thing. So you can misunderstand people. People close to you, especially, you have a tendency to fight with your near and dear ones, with your relatives, and you should try and avoid it, because during this time, even your best interest may not be taken as that. Whatever you say could be misconstrued. So if you're going to try and have that wonderful conversation with somebody to sort things out, this may not be a great time to do that. This is the time to plan out. So now even Mars is in retrograde, and it's as it is frustrating as far as movement forward is concerned. And now with your communication skills also going, the hampering of your communication skills, it is a great time to just sit down, plan your next move, go over what's gone wrong in the past. Maybe you have wronged somebody. You may not like to apologize at this time, but you can frame your apology so that when when the Mercury retrograde passes, you can actually go ahead and give your apology. This is also a time when your past comes back to you. It could be in a form of an ex, it could be in a form of some feud you had with a friend or with a family member or someone you're close to, something. But all those things come back. As it is with the Mars retrograde, you start reliving your past, but in this, it actually comes to you. Actually might get a call from somebody from your past, or you might bump into a friend whom you were very close with and you've had a great fight with, and and because of your ego or whatever, you've never ever met each other again, and then suddenly you bump into them, say in the market or something like that. It's quite possible during this time. This is the right time to forgive people and to assess whatever's gone. When you have an argument with somebody, and when you have a fight or a fallout with somebody, you obviously have a fallout because you see things in a certain fashion, and the other person sees in the other fashion, and you find that that you are not able to reconcile it, and that's why you part ways. And this is the right time to think about that, to reassess it, and see it from a different, see the whole thing from a different perspective. Maybe there is something that you said maybe have been right, but maybe the tone that you said it in wasn't right. Maybe you were too harsh, or the other person may have said that because the other person was going through a real bad time, and maybe they're also feeling bad about it right now. So these are things that you can do during a Mercury retrograde. Try and reach out to make amends. But only do that intuitively. If you find that when you're going to talk to a certain person and is again going to end up in an argument, it's better to leave those delicate situations aside for now, because during Mercury retrograde, what you say may not be actually accepted as that. All right. So with that, we get into your reading. We have 2 piles, as you can see. Have I moved it away? Yeah. You have pile number 1, the Red Jasper, and pile number 2, those who will choose the Carnelian. All right. Those who've chosen pile number 1, the Red Jasper, this is your reading. We've got the Mystic Monday Tarot, and we've got an advice card for you from the Animal Oracle deck. Opening your reading with the King of Swords, the Three of Swords, ooh, and the Nine of Pentacles. Oh, this is a beautiful card. I love the peacock. All right. So, in the same vein as I was talking to you about Mercury retrograde being the time of making amends and reassessing, what's the truth that you need to acknowledge, that needs to be acknowledged by you? You have come into your King of Swords energy, which means you are actually seeing things extremely clearly. You're not rushing in like the Knight of Swords. You have the maturity to be careful with your words, to see the larger picture, to see things from a broader perspective. You've actually come into this wonderful energy of the King of Swords. And so you don't jump to conclusions. You want to see all sides of a situation before you take your decision. And by being in this energy, what can you transform? You can transform the Three of Swords. You feel betrayed, or it could be the other way around, that you possibly have broken somebody's heart. You have betrayed somebody, and now you're see, so there basically this talks to two set of people. There's one lot of you who have felt betrayed, and there's another lot of you who have betrayed somebody, let somebody down. And the beautiful part is that you can see things very clearly now. If it was you who's been the one who's broken somebody's heart, you're seeing it. When you did that, you didn't do that on purpose. You did that because you didn't really know that you're going to be breaking this person's heart or betraying this person. And if it is the other person who's done that to you, you're seeing the reason why it happened, what your contribution was, if there was any, how it can be changed. All this is coming clear to you right now, and this is going to transform this hurt of yours. If you are the one who's been hurt, you're going to change that. And if there's someone else who you have hurt, then you would be able to apologize and set things right during this time. And what can you do to fully live this truth is a beautiful Nine of Pentacles. You stand in your power. Pile number one, I really see this beautiful energies. Okay, everyone makes a mistake. So whether that mistake was made towards you, or whether you made that mistake, if you made that mistake, forgive yourself. Try and make amends. When you try and make amends, the other person may or may not want to forgive you. It doesn't matter. If you have wronged somebody and you've made that effort to make amends, forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself and stand in your power. Be independent. Be proud of who you are. All right? And if someone else has broken your heart or betrayed you, forgive them. Let them, when you forgive them, you liberate yourself. When you let them go, you liberate yourself. Heal yourself, liberate yourself, and come into this beautiful energy of the Nine of Pentacles. You're already getting there. If you're not already here, you're getting there because you've already reached this energy, and it's just a matter of time where you can, just shine like this proud peacock. And what's the advice card? Nightingale spirit. love is all around. Isn't that beautiful? So maybe this person is coming to you with an apology, or you are going to this person with an apology. Either ways, when you stand in this power and you do your bit, keeping that truth in mind, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be love everywhere. So that's all I have for you, pile number 1. This is what you need to know during this Mercury retrograde, that this is a great time to reassess things, to find out the truth behind everything, and the truth shall set you free. And for those who chose pile number 2 with the Carnelian, which is not visible, there it is, so pretty. This is your reading. We've got the Good Tarot and an advice card from the Animal Spirit Oracle deck. We start off with the 7 of Air, which is the 7 of Swords, the Messenger of Fire, and the 3 of Water, which is 3 of Cups. And I just realized that nobody can see anything because of the lighting. Oh God. Is it visible? Nothing visible. Okay. What is the truth that needs to be acknowledged during this time, pile number 2? It is that someone has been dishonest here. Can you see this lady? It's not very clear, but this lady is wearing a mask. There is something that you have done or someone has done to you, but you have to acknowledge this truth. Maybe your intuition is already telling you this, or if you're the one who's been deceptive, you already know. If someone else is being deceptive, again, I think you already know. But you're just trying not to accept it, but you know it. And this is something that you need to acknowledge. And when you do that, you transform. You see things in a different light. You see things. See, what I can see here is that this has got to do with a person. Okay, either you've not told your true feelings to one another, how you feel about each other. Maybe you feel, that's what I feel, that I think you feel strongly for somebody, but you are not showing that. And it's quite possible they're doing the same, or they're being put off by this facade that you've got on. You've got this air of I don't care, or you're not very important. There's some kind of mask that you're donning that's putting the other person off, perhaps. Maybe you're doing this out of fear of getting hurt, but you're not being honest here. And this is something that you need to acknowledge. And you know about it. I think you already know about it. But if you can shut this playing games and being in this vague, deceptive energy, you will find passion. You will actually see things from a different perspective. You will be able to allow people into your life. Maybe this mask, you don't, it could be for some people that there's a particular person involved. For some of you, it could be that you have this mask on all the time with everybody because you don't want to be hurt. You just keep yourself aloof, pretending to be arrogant, whereas you aren't that. And if you actually have the courage to show your real self, you will find that beautiful things come to you, not only in the form of other people, but maybe your whole thinking your heart opens out. The minute you open your heart out and you let people see your vulnerable side, let people see the real you, it changes your thinking, it changes your outlook. You may get more creative ideas, you will draw people to you, things will be really great. And I think that's what you need to do. You'll find this transformation so beautiful that you'd wonder why you didn't do this before, and see what happens as a result of that. As a result of that, you'll find Three of Cups. Three of Cups is collaboration, celebration, having friends, lot of laughter, mirth, and that's what's waiting to happen in your life if you just take off that mask. So 5 number 2s, without any further delay, this Mercury retrograde, summon that courage up and let people see the real you. And what advice card do we have from Spirit? The Armadillo Spirit. Set healthy boundaries. So, well, there, the universe is saying that if you have fear that people are going to let you down or upset you, which is why you have this facade on, that's why you have this mask on. The universe is trying to tell you to learn how to set healthy boundaries. When you set healthy boundaries, people won't take advantage of you. You will be able to take care of yourself, and then you will be able to show your vulnerable side, and you won't let people come and mess with you. It is because that you've been hurt in the past that you have donned this mask on of being so prickly that people don't come anywhere near you. Instead of doing that, you set healthy boundaries. You be firm when you have to be firm, but don't close your heart off. Allow people into your life, and you will find that there's a lot of fun waiting for you to enjoy this. Beautiful. It will be creative. In your thinking will broaden. You'll have a lot of creative ideas flowing. You'll meet a lot of interesting people. You'll have a lot of friends. There'll be a lot of laughter in your life. All that which you are craving, but you are just keeping yourself back because you feel if you go with the flow, if you just show the people your true self, they'll see your shortcomings, and they'll try to they'll be unkind in some way, or they'll let you down, or they'll backstab you. It may have happened in the past. Most of us tend to be closed off because we've had experiences from our past. It's our past or our past lives that make us the way we are, that make us like this. But just take that step, and this is the right time to do it during the Mercury retrograde. Assess things for what they are, and just open yourself out to this beautiful world, and you see the magic that awaits you. So that's all I have for you, file number 2. I hope this reading resonated with you, and I'm sorry, my dear seekers, that I've been really late as far as the Mars retrograde reading was concerned, because Mars went retrograde on the 9th of September, and I've taken 2 other readings in between, but I've just been putting this off. Maybe, see, as they say, when it's meant to happen, it happens. So I just hope that you can take something from these readings back home with you. And that's all I have for you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.